Alright, so we are going to now continue with why acids behave like acids. Okay, very general question, that why do acids behave like acids? So the reason why acids behave like acids. Okay, the reason why acids behave like acids, so we have already understood their behavior. We have understood their behavior in terms of litmus, they turn blue litmus red. We have understood their behavior in terms of sour taste. We have also understood their behavior in terms of conduction of electricity. We have understood their behavior in terms of reaction with metal carbonates, metal hydrogen carbonates, with metals. Okay, we have understood their behavior in all these aspects. We have understood their behavior in terms of reaction with bases as well. So why do acids behave like this? Okay, for example, turning blue litmus red, or for example having sour taste, or for example neutralization reaction with a base, or for example with a metal, why do they behave like that? Or with a metal carbonate, they give carbon dioxide gas. Metal hydrogen carbonate, they give carbon dioxide gas. Okay, with metal they give hydrogen gas. So all these are basically certain trends that acids have, certain behaviors that they display, and why do they do that in way? Okay, so why acids behave like acids? Because of the presence, or we can say because the presence or dissociation, because the presence or dissociation of hydrogen ions. Okay, because of the presence of hydrogen ions or dissociation of acid into hydrogen ions. Okay, so all acids basically, when dissolved in an aqueous medium, okay, all acids in an aqueous medium, okay, they give hydrogen, they dissociate basically, they dissociate. All acids, they dissociate. Dissociates means breakdown. Okay, they dissociate to give hydrogen ions. These are basically hydrogen ions. Now, do they exist? See, there is something that you need to know a little beyond your syllabus, just for the sake of convenience of future studies. They actually do not exist in the form of hydrogen ions. They exist in the form of hydronium ions. Okay, but we study only in the aspect of hydrogen ions. They exist in the form of hydrogen ion. So now what happens is, these hydrogen ions, water molecule is polar. Okay, now what do we mean by polar water molecule? Polar water molecule. Polarity is something that we will understand later, but just to give you a heads up out here, so water molecule will look something like this, right? We have two H ions. So this is one oxygen ion that is having two H ions. Okay, one oxygen having two H ions. So it is polar. The reason why it is polar is because these two hydrogen ions are inclined at a certain angle, because of which a certain amount of polarity develops. Okay, polarity means certain amount of charges develop. Okay, so there is a certain amount of charges develop. How charges develop? It's not that water becomes ions, but it's just that, for example, if I look at a CO2 molecule, it is non-polar. Why? Because these are basically what? These are electrons which are getting shared in the covalent bond. So oxygen will have a tendency to pull the electrons towards itself, because oxygen is a highly electronegative element. So more is the electronegativity, that is tendency to pull the electrons towards itself to complete its octet. Okay, these are shared pair of electrons. So these electrons which are getting shared between carbon and oxygen are getting pulled towards itself, and these are also, but these are equal forces, because of which the balance is happening, and hence it is not a polar molecule, it is a linear molecule. However, this turns out to be a polar molecule. Why? Because in this case the oxygen is basically attracting these two electrons, and their attraction is not getting cancelled out. See, when I exert a force on this body, let's say this is the body, and I am pulling this body towards itself, and with an equal amount I am pulling this, so what will happen? The body will remain stationary, right? It's not going to move. Okay, but in this, so this happens in this case. Okay, oxygen being slightly, there is more to polarity. I am just giving you a heads up of what you just need to know about polarity. So carbon, oxygen are combined in this way. There is a covalent bond which exists between them. What is a covalent bond? Covalent bond is basically sharing of electrons. If electrons are getting shared, okay, there is a pull that is exerted by the atoms on these electrons which are getting shared. So obviously oxygen has a higher electronegativity. What do you mean by electronegativity? Electronegativity basically means the tendency to pull the electrons towards itself. Every atom has a certain amount of electronegativity, and so will oxygen have. So oxygen is trying to pull it, so it's like this, okay, so it remains stationary. However, in this case what happens, again oxygen has a much higher electronegativity as compared to hydrogen, so it will try to pull the electrons towards itself. This will also try to pull the electrons towards itself, because of which what will happen, slightly positive charge will develop on hydrogen and negative charges will develop on oxygen. Okay, so that's what renders the water molecule as a polar molecule. So it's slightly polarity develops. Okay, so water molecule is a little polar molecule, because of which what it will form is H plus plus H2, this will form H3O plus, and these are known as hydronium ions. These are known as hydronium ions. In actuality, this is what is formed, okay, by an acid. Okay, we although for the sake of convenience in studying and for the limited syllabus that we have for the 10th standard CBSE, we do not have polarity as a chapter or polarity as a concept. So we do not venture, because if we have to understand hydronium ions, then obviously we will have to understand or have a very deep understanding of what polarity is. Okay, for the time being, since this is not in our syllabus, or for the time being, since this is not a concept which is inclusive, okay, so we are just trying to understand this. We will explain all acidic behavior only in terms of the acid getting dissociated into hydrogen ions and not hydronium ions. Okay, although in actuality it is the hydronium ions which are getting formed in an acid, and that is responsible for whatever acidic properties an acid displays. Whatever properties we have learned so far is only because of these hydronium ions. But for sake of convenience right now, because any which ways hydronium ions are evolving because of this, so if we were to write this condensed form, okay, so this is hydrogen ions, okay, and these hydrogen ions in aqueous form, they form hydronium ions. Okay, in aqueous form means in water they form hydronium ions. That's what happens in acids. So these form hydronium ions. I hope this is kind of clear with you. Okay, all right. So if we take any acid, for example, let's say HCl, let's take the acids which are concentrated and which are very strong acids rather. Okay, so HCl, if you dissolve it in aqueous medium, HCl, see every acid will be in aqueous medium. Until unless you are dissolving an acid in water, it's not going to behave as an acid for the first things first. Okay, so we have here HCl. Obviously HCl will dissociate in aqueous medium to form H plus and Cl minus ions. Okay, then we have, let's say, H2SO4. In aqueous form it will form 2H plus plus SO4 2 minus, that's H2SO4. Okay, HNO3, nitric acid. In aqueous form, we generally do not write aqueous form here because it's understood. So any acid will behave like this. So this will dissociate into H plus plus NO3 minus. Okay, so these are certain acids and this is how they dissociate into ions, and these are the ions which are responsible for displaying their acidic behavior. Okay, I hope we are clear on this one. All right, now does that mean that every compound which has hydrogen in it will behave as an acid? No, it doesn't mean that way. Okay, for example, H2O, it doesn't behave as an acid. You said that polarity is there. No, it doesn't behave as an acid. Only in terms when H plus ions dissociate into water, then it forms hydronium ions. Otherwise it doesn't exist as hydronium ions. Okay, so let's say if we were talking about any organic compound, let's say we take alcohol, C2H5OH. okay, this is basically ethyl alcohol. We also call it as ethanol. Does this have H? Yes. Will it dissociate to form, will it behave as an acid? No, it's not going to behave as an acid in spite of having H. Okay, because this is not going to dissociate in water to form hydrogen ions or hydronium ions, whatever applicability is there. Okay, so these are certain compounds. Ethanol, it will not form, it will not display properties of acids. Have we got any other compound? Let's say glucose. Okay, C6H12O6. This is what? Glucose. Will it dissociate to form hydrogen ions? No. Okay, so we can conduct a very simple experiment. The experiment is like this, okay, just to see whether all, so let's say we have a beaker here and we have a stand here, we have a podium out here, and on this podium we have fixed two nails, okay, we have basically fixed two nails, okay, and these two nails are basically drawn into a circuit, okay. So let's say we have a battery out here, we have a battery, we have a switch out here, and let's say we have an electric lamp out here, okay, and this is how it is connected. Okay, so this is basically a battery, this is a switch, this is an electric lamp, and let's say we fill it with an acid. Okay, this is entirely filled with an acid. This is basically the stand. Okay, now this is not a complete circuit. Why? Because these two nails are not joined to each other. Okay, so if after pressing the switch, okay, the bulb starts glowing, it means that electricity is flowing between these two nails by the medium of the acid that we have kept. Okay, so the acid which is there is conducting electricity. Why? Because of ions. Now we have to understand this. See, conductance is of two types. One is in metal conductors because of flow of electrons, and one is in acids and bases because of ion. This behaves like an electrolyte. Okay, so this is because of ions which are getting formed. So this is an acid which is there, okay, and when we conduct this, what will happen? So there is no direct pathway which is connecting these two. Let's say this is an insulator. This is, let's say, a cork, okay, which is an insulator. So even if these nails are kind of embedded in this cork, they are not connected to each other, because of which electricity is not going to flow through this. So this is in itself an incomplete circuit if we just look at it in terms of the connection that we have done. Okay, however, if we do the same thing with an alcohol or glucose, so what confirms whether electricity is going through it or not is the glowing of the bulb. The bulb glows. However, in this case, the bulb will not glow. Okay, so let's say if we fill it now with an alcohol, let's say ethanol, or if we fill it with, let's say, glucose, it is not going to glow. Okay, so this confirms that the acid is conducting electricity, however this is not conducting electricity. So if a compound contains H or hydrogen, it doesn't mean that it will conduct electricity. Okay, if a compound contains hydrogen, it doesn't mean that it will conduct electricity. Okay, however, acids will always conduct electricity due to presence of hydrogen ions. Okay, I hope this is pretty much clear. We'll cover more in the next slide.